This is Cancer Coach Chat, and I am Stephanie, cancer coach, cannabis educator, and consultant. And I am determined to introduce those newly diagnosed with cancer to a whole world of options for treatment and support. And I'm also on a mission to help people navigate their endocannabinoid system with cannabis therapy to heal their bodies and their minds so that they can become the CEO of their health recovery. We are going to control your stress so that it does not control you. Together, we will take this information and challenge the antiquated method of only attacking the cancer, and we will integrate holistic support. If this sounds good to you, then you are in the right place at the right time. So today, we're going to talk about the stress of healing. In order to eliminate or to reduce the stress of healing, you have to be very intentional on what you're actually doing with your time and your efforts and your energy on a day-to-day basis. You need to be in purpose with every action that you take. There's always going to be something else to do. There's always going to be an opinion, a protocol, a new specialist that you come in contact with. So you have to remain in control of what you're actually engaging in. You have to be very intentful on what you incorporate into your day-to-day basis. You probably didn't even see this coming. Most people get that cancer diagnosis and say, I don't even, where did this come from? I don't know how this could have possibly happened. So when we find ourselves faced with the cancer diagnosis and we have no idea where it came from, I'm sure that you didn't plan for it either. So now what? Now what do you do? Now we've got the stress of having to deal with the cancer, the stress of wondering where it came from, the stress of wondering what we're going to do. Where will you light the flames of your focus? Where is that going to happen? How can you prosper in your healing, in your home, in your work, in your relationships? And by prosper, I mean living intentionally. We all have a purpose on this earth, and it's to live your life with intention. It's not about finding your dream job or your dream spouse or having the perfect life. It is not, finding life's purpose isn't a matter of starting a nonprofit or being this big world changer. It's all of that. It's all of that wrapped up into you being happy and filling your days with joy by living in intention, by living with purpose. So we have to be able to do this while we heal. We have to be able to find simplicity to some degree in order to eliminate that heavy stress load of the cancer, of working with cancer, of maintaining relationships while you deal with this cancer diagnosis. We have, over the decades, overcomplicated what cancer recovery needs to look like. Stress is probably more than likely part of the reason that got you here. Stress has a lot to do with the inflammatory process that happens in your body. Inflammation contributes to cancer. Inflammation and stress contribute to cancer development. So we have to be very intentional in identifying root causes of what brought us here. So we have this image of what cancer treatment success looks like. And to most of us, that is no evidence of disease. Obviously, that's where we all want to get to. We don't want to have cancer. We don't want to deal with it. We just want to make it go away. So we have this image of what success looks like on a very general basis. We don't take into consideration our own lives that we're living in the meantime. We've got one vision of the way cancer treatment looks like. And to most of us, it is the typical chemo, radiation, not feeling well, losing your hair, missing out on social events, on life's milestones, birthdays and holidays and trips and vacations and grandchildren and things like that. So we've got this one vision on the way we feel cancer treatment should look like. But do we ever, or how often do we take a step back and think, what makes me feel alive? What kind of living intentionally makes me feel alive? Before I dive into this treatment that is stressing me out, because I've seen what it's done to my loved ones, I've seen what it's done to my friends, my neighbors, my coworkers. I've seen people get sick. I've seen people not feel well. I've seen people not come out well on the other side, and I don't want that for myself. That's stressful. There's stress and healing there. So we need to be able to take a step back and think about, what are my values? Do they align with my treatment plan, or am I just going with a default treatment plan? How do I want to spend my days? Do I want to be present? Am I being present? Am I thinking about what I'm doing? Am I engaged in my treatment plan, or am I allowing somebody to say, this is what your diagnosis is and this is what we have for you, so let's start tomorrow? That's stressful. Where was your say so? How does that make you feel in the pit of your stomach, in the core of your being? How does that make you feel? Does it align with your beliefs? Sure, we have to do things that are unpleasant when we're dealing with a cancer diagnosis, and they're not always going to be fun. That's the nature of the beast. But are you coming together with your values? Is the treatment in alignment with living an enjoyable life? Do you want the luxury of living an enjoyable life? Or do you want to go through your days not feeling well, not taking opportunities with family and friends and work, and engaging in hobbies and things that you might want to continue to participate in or start? I know a lot of people diagnosed with a cancer diagnosis, and it's like a wake-up call. They finally realize that, man, I've just been working my life away. I haven't taken time to enjoy this time that I have here on earth. I need to start doing things that make me feel good. Am I going to be able to do that while I'm doing this treatment that's being suggested to me? When I say you must learn to find simplicity in your life, I am saying that you need to learn to find intention. The simpleness of intention can be the difference between being stressed out and eliminating stress, and knowing what you're doing, knowing what's coming tomorrow, knowing what's coming on the weekend. You have to stop chasing, I think it's called shiny object syndrome. Stop chasing all of the things that you think might be the right thing. Stop chasing the next new thing. Stop looking for another new thing. Find what feels good to you. Find where your values align with and stick with it. So there's always going to be another program, another idea. There's always going to be another specialist. There's always going to be another seminar or training to take. But I strongly encourage you to find someone that you resonate with and stick with them. If you try all the things, you're going to get nowhere real fast. It'll make you feel like you're being pulled in so many different directions. And when you're always trying to engage in a new therapy and a new idea, then that pulls you away from your family. It pulls you away from your kids, and it's always taking your focus somewhere else. And that leads to more stress. We're trying to eliminate stress here. So we've got to focus. You become uninterested in engaging in life at that point. It's just too much. Too much is too much. And then we kind of get off track and we get lost. We get that never enough feeling. And that's just overwhelming. It doesn't sit well. It feels like our efforts are being wasteful at some point when we're trying to do too many things. And our presence in the very moment, our presence in this life tends to get lost. Our quality of life when we're determining our treatment should be number one. Doc, what is my quality of life going to be if I engage in this treatment? Oncologist, specialist, what will my quality of life be if I start this therapy? Can you show me some success stories? Can you give me some insight as to what my life is going to look like should I try to go through your program? Sometimes we need to reinvent the process. Conventional treatment, we all have an idea of what conventional treatment is. And sometimes we need it. Sometimes we need to go through chemo and radiation. Sometimes instead of using it as a last resort, if we've got a very aggressive and advanced diagnosis, we might need to engage in conventional treatment from the start. But that doesn't mean that we do that as our one and only treatment. We need to incorporate supportive mechanisms that bring down the stress level, that allow us to still live our lives in the meantime. Not being able to engage in the joys and in the day-to-day life functions just creates this anxiety and this angst feeling that creates stress. It just piles stress on. So be sure to ask, what is this treatment going to provide me? What is this going to bring to the table for me? The purpose of life is to win in the game of life. With peace, with harmony, with love, with experience. It's the foundation of your healing plan. You need to feel good about what you're doing. You need to be in alignment with this treatment that the doctor is suggesting to you. The message for many people that they're looking for is something that sits well with them. If you are looking within or and dialing in for your come to Jesus moment, what people mean when they say that is, does this settle well with me? Okay, so I'm going to take some time and think of, is this truly what I believe in? Does this really align with my benefits? Is this going to allow me to be happy with my life in the meantime? That is a very valid strategy when deciding if you're going to participate in a particular therapy or not. You need to be able to orient your life around a treatment versus the treatment becoming your life. We don't want to become the cancer. We want to create a situation where we've separated ourselves from this diagnosis and we are taking control of our health. That we cannot become our diagnosis. We cannot let the treatment overcome our lives. We don't want to become the disease. It's not the goal here. The living of this, or the practice of healing, is cutting through all of that noise, of all of the things that are going on, of the doctor's appointments, of the infusions, and we want them to be comfortable. We want to be comfortable with going to these scans or these doctor or treatment appointments. We want them to be applicable to what we believe in. You can't do what everyone else does. Just because millions of other people have taken chemotherapy or radiation or gone before you in surgical procedures with the same diagnosis that you have, doesn't mean that that's your only option. That just means this is time for you to take a step back and align yourself. Get laser focused once you have aligned yourself and implement what's going to work for you and your lifestyle, for you and your beliefs, because this is what's going to remove the stress out of your day-to-day life, your beliefs and what aligns with them. This is not survival of the fittest. It drives me crazy when people say, we're going to give you the most potent chemotherapy we possibly can because you're young and you're tough and you can handle this. And if you can get through this, you can get through anything. This is not survival of the fittest. Your body is sorely compromised. Your immune system is crying for help. This cancer is a message that something or some things have gone wrong, and you need to give very special, tender, loving care to that and find out what your body is missing, lacking, or in need of. And you need to be very, very laser focused in order to do this, because we also have to live in the and. We also have to maintain relationships at work, at home, in our neighborhood, in our families, with our children. Some of us are still raising children. We've got young kids. We are grandparents. We are taking care of young kids. We want to be there. We want to be a part of them. There are so many areas or habits that your attention and your focus can be given to or lost if we're not intentional, if we're not focused. And that makes healing seem complicated if we're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall or just waking up and rolling with the day as it comes. You have to hone in on what your needs are. You've got daily needs, and I address this in the cancer recovery technique. You've got daily needs that have to be met to get rid of the stress. Once you meet those daily needs, when you wake up and you know what those needs are, from the minute you get up until the minute you go to bed at night, where is the stress in figuring out what your day needs to encompass? It's not. We've taken that component out because we've radically simplified. We've stepped into simplicity by creating a blueprint of what your day needs to look like. This allows you to avoid that overwhelm of so many things fluttering before me. I open my email and there's so many new things to try, ideas to take a look at, treatments to consider. We've met so many people that are trying so many things and they just seem tired and stressed and confused. It's because they are. Trying too much can just push you over the edge, and this is what we're trying to avoid. The stress of healing is real, and people will trip over this and they will get sicker over this, and we need to not be that person. We need to be consistent and show up when things get hard. We need to stay focused even when things are hard. We need to stay focused even when things seem like they're going too well, or they feel like maybe this is too simple. I don't really know anybody that says that, but you get what I'm saying. So we just want to continuously show up, and we want to be trackable. When we know what we're doing, because we have a blueprint of our daily needs, then we can keep track of how it's working for us. When we're just trying this and picking at that and grabbing at whatever that popped up in our email or on a Google search today, then where is the measurement? Where is your accountability? What are you actually tracking if you're dabbling in this and trying that? It just leads to more stress. In this daily plan that you're doing, you also are doing things that fill you. We don't just fill your day with cancer recovery techniques. We're filling your day with what fills you, what fills your heart. What is your life's creative purpose? It's living. It's enjoyment. It's not things that are going to make or break you. And it's certainly not living with the, oh, maybe I should do this or I should do that. That's a whole other cancer coach chat that I'm going to be releasing, is stop shoulding yourself. So we have to have the things that we want to do. Of course, there's the things that we have to do and the things that we need to do, but we also fill the days with the things that you want to do. Where's the stress in the things that you want to do? That's how we eliminate stress. That's how we overcome stress, by incorporating things that are filling us, by bringing us joy. There's nothing more useful than having a vision of the way life is supposed to be and actually living that out on a daily basis. You are a human being, not just a human doing. So the number one thing that I recommend is for actually the first thing in the morning. You will have an idea of what you're doing when you go to bed the night before. Too many times I hear people just fall asleep and then they get up the next morning and they kind of lay in bed and then they get up and they know that they should be taking some kind of supplements or maybe juicing or maybe making a smoothie, but then the phone rings and then they get stuck on a conversation there. And we need to learn to detach from all of our old habits, because it's more than likely our old habits that got us to the point that we're at right now. So we need to think about our treatments and what those treatments are going to look like and how we are going to incorporate things that make us feel good, that can expand our possibilities of having a better outcome than all of those people that we generally think of that have gone before us, that have gone through conventional only methods, that have allowed that stress to overtake their days. We need to have that traditional format have some flexibility to it. We need to give it the flexibility so that we can stay true to our own intentions. We need to find comfort in giving ourselves grace. Not every day is going to be perfect. And if we don't give ourselves grace, every day will continue to fill with more stress. I won't wow you with any kind of fancy graphics or an over-the-top website or documents, and my programs might have misspellings in the emails and things like that, but I will commit to wowing you with the relationship that we build, with your blueprint, and my guiding you through building a daily plan to bring the stress out of this journey. I will wow you with what you discover you are able to do in this process. It's incredible to see somebody go from, I don't know where this came from, to taking control of their health and becoming the CEO of their health recovery and realizing that they actually do have superpowers, and that's gaining their health back. We create space for living in the and. That's pretty impressive when you can go through a cancer recovery program and live your life. You need space to breathe. You need space to enjoy doing nothing. That needs to be built into your recovery plan. You can't just be doing, going all the time. You need space to just be. You need space to breathe. That is something that we don't take time out to do often enough. And that, when we don't do that, when we don't have intentional breathing time or intentional rest time, then what we tend to do is think, well, I've got cancer, I better be doing something. So you stuff more things in your day. Even without cancer, we're constantly stuffing more things. If we've got time, it's just burned into our brains to stuff that time with something. It's very, very hard to take a step back and to even schedule doing nothing. We need to feel what's most important. We need to feel like we're engaging in that in the day-to-day act of just living our lives. It's the experience of healing. And it is an experience. This is a journey. And you should be feeling it. You should be understanding it. And we need to be looking at the experience rather than just test results. And I'm not saying don't get test results. I'm not saying don't focus on your test results. I'm just saying don't get hung up on test results. Get hung up on living your life. Get hung up on your experiences of life. I want the metrics of this disease recovery process to be, what is my quality of life? How am I spending my life? And what are my results? And what does my scan look like? And how am I improving? It's measuring the day-to-day quality of life instead of just focusing on quantity. Quality over quantity is a stress-reducing mechanism when it comes to cancer recovery. So there lies a certain level of toxicity in the word positive when we're talking about a negative situation. So, of course, nobody wants a cancer diagnosis. So we need to obviously be very clear that I'm not saying jump on the positivity project, because there's toxicity in that in and of itself. We're humans. We're designed to feel all of the emotions. We can't just pretend everything is all roses and it's handled all the time. But what I'm saying is that how you live on a daily basis is a far greater metric than the quantity or the length of your life. What are those metrics going to look like for you? How are you going to gauge that? What determines a life worth living to you? It's not going to look the same as mine, or your coworkers, or your neighbors, or your friend's cousin. Say you get to the day where you're disease-free. Time to celebrate, right? Say you never get there. Does that mean we don't celebrate? Does that mean all of your days have been wasted? No. Your body counts on you to tend to it. When you tend to it, you become in tune to it. This is living intentionally. This is living with purpose. This is living in alignment with your core values. This is understanding what your body is calling for. Your body wants organization. Your body wants structure. Your mind needs that. You're better able to receive info and requests that your body is sharing with you, that your mind is sharing with you, so you can cut through certain things that just may not be for you. You might try something because you think you're in alignment with it and it doesn't feel good. Then you realize this is not in alignment. I do not believe in this. I don't value this. When you tune into your body and you listen and you're intentional, you'll realize that. But it takes work. It's not easy. You have to get to the point where instead of saying, I can't eat this, to I'm so thankful I get to drink fresh pressed juice every day. I need to exercise. Think of like a pro athlete. They make their body their job. We're making health recovery part of your job. And part of your job, part of your health recovery is living with intention and filling your days with things that make you feel full. What would you want, or how would you feel if you were able to slow down, take a step back, and gain a resource for healing? You need to take this time right after your diagnosis and think, if I had all of the resources, all of the information, and I had the most ideal treatment, what would my days look like? How would I feel? And you need to process this. And you need to create boundaries according to this feeling. It's before you make a decision. We never want to make a decision based in fear, in stress mode, or in scarcity. We want to feel like we're in control. We want to make sure it's in alignment with our beliefs. And we want to make sure that we've taken a step back and that we're looking at it from all angles. We want to make sure that we've created a boundary and we're not letting somebody overstep that and tell us what to do or when to do it if it's not in alignment, if it's not in tune with who we are. So we're at this point, we're reinventing the model of cancer care, and that's okay. We need a paradigm shift. It's time for a paradigm shift. The days of just doing conventional therapy and crossing your fingers are gone. We need to be an active participant in our recovery. We need to eliminate the stress. Up until now, there has been nothing but stress based around this illness. It's a dis-ease in the body. We have sat and waited passively for much too long. It doesn't suit people anymore. It's a process of letting go of how we've been trained to accept cancer care. The hurried, urgent, no time to think, chaotic treatment every day that allows no time to consider what our body's actually going through. Do I believe in this? Or do I get to say so when enough is enough? Or what feels good in my body if I've let this into my space? What's enough? What is enough that allows me to just live my life and recover from disease at the same time? When you pause to fix your focus on this, you find that you can manage yourself according to what is essential for you. You have to become priority. You have to become the CEO of you, and you have to take this control in order to let the stress fall to the wayside. What is your definition of true health? How would you use your time? How would that feel? What would you do in these days? Use your inner resources. Pray. Meditate. Pause. Step into your faith. All of this will allow you to find your place, to tune into you, to listen to that quiet inner voice, to have your come to Jesus moment, to find out what you're really meant to do. And when you do, we can take that stress component out of the healing equation. As soon as you get that, you have cancer diagnosis. I would love to help you be your cancer coach and guide you through the cancer recovery technique. If you are interested, go to the website, thetaliving.com. Sign up, register, send me an email, and I will send you details. Until then, take the stress out of healing by taking a moment to pause, pray, and ask for guidance. Find out what sits well with you. Think, what do I want to do alongside recovery? And how am I going to live my life? How do I want to feel? Talk to you soon. Love you.